Baruch haba, and welcome to our hundredth witness of Yeshua, our Alef and Tav treasure, number 100. And we're going to find it in Judges 16:23, and there's also one in 24. And let's go there and see what we have. Our verse in Judges 16, verse 23, reads, Now the lords of the Philistines gathered together to offer a great sacrifice to Dagon, their god, and to rejoice. And they said, Our God has delivered into our hands Alef and Tav, Samson, our enemy. Verse 24 says, When the people saw him, they praised their God, for they said, Our God has delivered into our hands our enemy, the destroyer of our land, and the one who multiplied our dead. So, in this first verse, we have, he placed in their Elohim, or Eloheinu, our Elohim, which is the pagan god, Dagon, into our hands, Biyadenu. Sorry, I have to look at it not through the camera because I can't see the vowel points very well through the camera. I have to look around it. Into our hands, the Alef and Tav, Samson, our enemy, Oivenu. And the next verse, and the Alef and Tav, the destroyer of our land, Artsenu, Mahariv. And I wanted to look up this word for destroyer, which the root is harav. And if you know a little bit of Hebrew, you know that the word hariv, which is the same exact letters, means sword. It's number 2719, whereas harav is Strong's 2717. Harav means to waste, dry up, desolate, slay, decay, destroyed, destroyer, surely or utterly. Which reminds me of the second coming of Yeshua, when he lays waste a lot of the earth. It says that when he comes back, that the earth will be destroyed by fire this time, whereas the first time it was destroyed was with a flood, as you know, in Noah's day. But I also wanted to look up this word for Dagon, which is their false god, which is derived from the Hebrew word Dug, Dalet, and Gimel, which means fish. And I looked up that word in my Blue Letter Bible. Dagon is a fish from Dug, Hebrews 1709. Dagon is 1712. And Dagon is a Philistine deity of fertility, represented with the face and hands of a man and the tail of a fish. And I thought that was interesting. I'll put up a mitre of a Catholic bishop's hat right now. I'll edit that in here in a second. But I thought that was interesting, that their false god was from a fish. But anyway, alright. Since this is our video number 100. I wanted to give a testimony of why I'm doing this. So if you're not interested in why I'm making these elephant top videos, just go ahead right now and turn the video off. I mean, you're done. That's all the elephant top treasure I've got for you today. But if you'd like to know why I'm doing this, I'm not going to show a picture of my face, but I'll show you the parakeets. And it all stems back from in about 2011 or 2012. I was living with my uncle and his family, and I also worked for him. And he renounced Yeshua, which broke my heart terribly. This was a man who, when my dad was killed in a car wreck in 1990, he stepped up and was like a dad to me. And it even goes further back. When I was 10 years old, instead of having my dad baptize me in church in 1978, which my dad didn't go to church hardly ever that I ever remember, except when one of us was getting baptized. But instead of having my dad baptize me, I got this uncle to baptize me. So my whole life he's been very special to me and like a dad. So when he gave up his salvation by renouncing Yeshua, it really broke my heart. So I started looking up these non-hyphenated Alef and Tavs to show as witnesses, because he is very aware. We did a Revelation class together at the last church that I attended, and so he knows those 4 accounts where Yeshua says, "I am the Alef and the Tav," in Revelation 1:8, 1:11, 22:13, and 21:6. He's very aware that Yeshua says, "I am the Alef and the Tav." And so I started doing these witnesses of Yeshua for whenever his heart is right again, for when he humbles his heart. And I say a lot of times that he's like Nebuchadnezzar, when Nebuchadnezzar got very arrogant and proud of himself, and confident in his own power. That's when Yahweh sent him into the wilderness, and he wasn't in his right mind. So my prayer is that when my uncle humbles himself and is back in his right mind, that maybe he will realize that Yeshua is the Son of Elohim, the Son of God, and that he was in the beginning with God, and that he is the Word made flesh, because my uncle still does believe in the Old Testament. So that is why I'm doing these videos. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with y'all. Now you know why I haven't shared it before, because it's pretty important to my heart. But anyway, thank you for listening, and may you all be blessed. I love you all, and lahidrot.